There's a thought a lot of people carry quietly. It shows up when you're scrolling late at night, when you see someone your age announcing a promotion, an engagement, a new life milestone, and suddenly your brain whispers, "I'm behind an invisible schedule that everyone else seems to understand." What's strange is that the people who feel this the most aren't careless or unmotivated. They're often thoughtful, and that's exactly where the feeling starts. Because the idea of being behind doesn't come from reality. It comes from comparison to a timeline that was never designed for real human development. We grow up absorbing an unspoken script. By this age, you should know who you are. By this age, you should be stable. By this age, things should make sense. But the brain doesn't develop in straight lines, and some minds were never built to follow a straight path. Some people process life before committing to it. From the outside, it looks like hesitation. From the inside, it feels like waiting for something to click. Psychologically, people who feel behind often have high self-awareness, and self-awareness is a double-edged sword. When you're aware, you don't just see what you are, you see what you're not yet. You notice the gap between potential and reality. You feel the distance between where you stand and where you could go. Less reflective people move faster because they question less. They don't stop to ask if the path fits, they just walk. And questioning slows motion, not because you're stuck, but because you refuse to move blindly. There's also something deeper happening. Many people who feel behind avoided locking themselves into an identity too early. They didn't rush into a role just to feel secure. They didn't choose a life just because it was available. At some point, that openness starts to feel like failure. Not because you did something wrong, but because society rewards commitment more than understanding. So the pressure builds. And that's when people try to catch up. They rush decisions. They choose paths to close the gap. They say yes to lives that don't feel like theirs, just to stop feeling late. But psychologically, this creates a new problem. When you move out of fear instead of alignment, you don't feel relief. You feel trapped because you didn't choose that direction. You escaped into it, and deep down, your mind knows the difference. Here's the part that almost no one talks about. Some people are late bloomers by design. Certain personalities integrate experience before committing. They need time to connect ideas. From the outside, it looks like an overnight transformation. From the inside, it's been forming quietly for years. The frustration comes from measuring invisible progress with visible milestones. But inner alignment can't be rushed. Feeling behind isn't a diagnosis, it's a signal. It usually means you're measuring yourself against a path that was never yours, or that your mind needs meaning before movement, or that you're in a developmental phase society doesn't know how to validate. None of those mean you're failing. They mean you're becoming something specific, something that doesn't fit neatly into timelines. So here's a quieter way to look at it. Some people move early. Some people move fast. Some people move deeply. Some people move when everything finally makes sense. Progress isn't universal, it's personal. And feeling behind might not mean you're late. It might mean you're early to questions most people avoid until their life no longer fits. If this hit close to home, you're not alone.